Hey everyone, back with you. My name is Coach Rob DeBoer. I'm here with my friend Dustin Schaefer. We are on question number 2, or rather, objection number 2, as we count down the top 10 objections to drinking ketones from the health, fitness, nutrition industry. Today, number 2, the long-term use of drinking exogenous ketones. Number 1, I'll throw it to you, Dustin, but this is now 8 years in the making. And what I can tell you based on my personal experience and the anecdotal evidence of, I would say more than dozens, probably hundreds that I'm very intimately, closely coaching, but really tens of thousands of people anecdotally, we've seen improvement of health, quality of living, just what this means overall to creating compliance to a healthier lifestyle. And that doesn't typically reverse engineer itself. It's not like, hey, all these great things are happening and then all of a sudden, man, we are. So we've been at it for about 8 years, proven as the category king when it comes to exogenous ketone supplementation. We have patents with some of the brightest minds in the world, the original formulator, Dominic D'Agostino, Patrick Arnold, so many specialists and contributors behind who we are, what we do, how this product has evolved. But I'll just throw it over to you to give people what is the effects or the benefits, not just of ketone supplementation, but being in ketosis. A lot of times people think ketosis is bad, or ketones are bad, or keto in the blood, and ketoacidosis, and we have all these terms thrown at us. Why don't you set the record straight?
Yeah, this is to me huge because I've been, basically in ketosis the majority of my adult life. And when I first, one of my good friends is a doctor, and I first was telling him, he's like, that's bad. He's an ER doctor, right? And he only sees the bad cases of it all. I'm like, dude, you're in ketosis right now. And he goes, no, I'm not. I go, yeah, you are. I coached him, and I knew his nutritional plan. And I'm like, go test it. He goes, he's like, oh my God, I am. I go, exactly. I go, being in ketosis is a very natural thing. Maybe 97% of human existence, we've been in ketosis. I was working with Dr. Angela Poff at an event one time, and she's one of the most prolific researchers in this, and is on our original patent. And she had said, the question isn't being in ketosis long term unsafe. The question is being out of ketosis long term, is that unsafe? She goes, that's the real question we should be asking, not the other way around. Primitively, if you think about the last 100 years, we are sicker, more obese, have more problems than ever before. And if at the same time, the reduction of ketogenesis has went down. So there's definitely a correlation, and people are often blaming like, not to get into the weeds, but like GMO and all these other components, which are factors of change. But the biggest change is our metabolic health has changed, and being able to produce your own ketones is huge. Now, when you look at bioidentical pure therapeutic ketones, it's 8 years. We've been doing this for 8 years, but they've been researching this for 50, 60 years. It's not new. The more clear research is over the last 10, 12 years for, the DOD and for NASA has been looking into the same concepts. So it's a very efficient way. But I'm going to summarize it in this. I work very closely with one of the leading brain and anti-aging longevity specialists. And she had said this, she goes, what is your options? Right now, there's no other good alternative to change the way your brain's working. So she's like, and the science supports this very clearly. Like, the only option you have now is to start getting better. And so I thought that was really clear. She always says, what the hell do you have to lose? And she's a real neat lady. She's in her 60s, and she's very, very well diverse in this space too. So that's what I would say, Rob, is that long-term use is the question you have to ask yourself is, what's the alternative?
I love that. A couple of things triggered some thoughts. Number one, think about this, Dustin. A lot of people look at this is a health and wellness company. Well, we're really a human optimization company beyond just physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional, all these different areas. But I want you to think about this. One of the benefits that is first reported when people use exogenous supplementation, specifically our brand, is improved mood and mindset. Now, let's ask the question, what does it mean to have long-term chronic stress? Like, what if this improved quality of day and minimize stress, daily stressors on the body, And it likens me to the phrase, people in my space, health, fitness, nutrition, where people say, well, why does it cost so much clean and healthy? Better question, because I think that's the wrong question. Better
Right.
question, why is it so cheap to eat unhealthy?
Right.
And we've all heard, hey, pay for it now or later. And I just think this is one of those things where it's an opportunity for people to experience something you and I can't coach. Like you said, said this the other day on one of our questions. By the way, we're doing a top 10 list, David Letterman style, where we're addressing all these objections that you and I have probably had ourselves or run across over the last 8 years being in this space. But, it's just, what would it look like to get the benefit of this? That's not something you can coach someone. You mentioned the other day, hey, if it's my coaching or this product, probably should choose this product because it's going to offer you benefits I can't offer you.
Right. Yeah. And to me, that's a huge component of it, is that when you think about, should you take this long term, I did the ketogenic diet for health reasons and medical reasons. And I think a lot of times people that are studying, maybe you're a green personality where you're just like, I got to know everything. And you look back at the research from the 1920s, which is when the ketogenic diets really started getting its studying done. So it's one of the longest studied diets in history. But the challenge was then, and why supplementing is so important today, is that you sometimes had too much protein would actually minimize the effect. And so that is a hard thing to do long term, right? Because we need those amino acids, we need that extra nutrition. And so, yeah, doing a strict ketogenic diet, especially at the extremes, is very hard to do long term and to be sustainable. Not that you can't. I've been doing a variation of one for a long time, but being at a therapeutic level of ketones efficiently without being perfect on the diet is a great alternative. And then, of course, like you and I both know that we can have this coexist with carbohydrates, dual fuel, which has been really fun playing around with and seeing the positive benefits of this. So my big thing is like, what's your alternative? If you're not thriving and living the best life, if your clients keep going through the roller coasters of ups and downs and aren't able to sustain the lifestyle you're trying to create for them, well, what if there's a tool that can give them the momentum and give them the efficiency? I always like to say, if I can give you the end result of feeling better, I can teach you the beginning. And that's what ketones do. They give you the end result of how it is to feel better. So now you create momentum for people to keep going in that direction. And ultimately, they're going to find a lifestyle that they want to maintain and live.
I love it. I'll throw it to you for the last word. But the last thing I would say that you kind of mentioned is sustainability. I mean, look, context matters. We all have lifestyles. We all have different beliefs. We all have different fundamental ways of living. But this is a sure pathway to being better. And we have 8 words that we all kind of associate with daily dosage of this. Drinking ketones on a daily basis once is great. I think incrementally better, twice is better. I don't just think it's 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 equals more than when it comes to the benefits that you'll get by putting ketones in your body, blood at a level that matters, that can be quantified with a blood test. But what does that look like long term? I think, Dustin, it's important for people because inevitably people will stumble across this video. This is the natural state. Like, explain kind of just the history and evolution of man. Why was ketosis important for humans to be designed this way?
Well, really 2 main things, and the new research is actually really, really exciting in my world. But ketones are a way. Think about this: if you're starving as a species, as a man or a woman, you're starving. At what time in history do you want to be most optimal? And that's at a high level of ketogenic state, meaning your body's tapped into your fat stores. You're producing a high level ketones. You want to increase cognition and focus, energy, because you had to go hunt and find food. If you don't, the species dies. So this is really important part of our thriving and our existence and a part of our evolution. So that's one main component of why ketones are so important to the human body. But here's the new research: is that for men, if you're a woman out there, or if you're a coach and you're coaching women, being ketosis is potentially more effective for women than men, because of the survival of a fetus. They now show that a pregnant mom that's not doing the ketogenic diet will now produce ketones because of what it does for the human body. Like, that is a primitive state, independent of diet. And right now we can help people live better. And then breastfed babies literally get medium chain fatty acids to produce ketones. Back in the 1970s, they finally realized if they don't provide a way for ketones to be produced in for a little infant, a preemie baby, their brains never fully develop. I mean, it's pretty powerful. It's one of the fundamental principles of literally human existence. And if you think about the last 100 years, we've really messed that up, and it's time to bring it back. And you and I both encourage high quality food. We encourage high quality eating. We want people to move their body. We want people to start working on their mindset. At the same time, we want to provide the right tools to help them get there. And that's what this is.
I love it. Sustainability is key. And I'll just end it with this, just so everyone's clear. This is about a drink, not a diet. This is where long-term use is really the question. The question is, what has long-term use of ketones in the body delivered? And that's what we've mimicked over the last 8 years. You know, you'd say, hey, this dates back to the 20s. You know, the ketogenic diet wasn't designed for body. It was designed to treat refractory epilepsy in children who were resistant to pharmaceutical seizures.
Right.
And then they discovered all these benefits. What I can tell you is, dating back, you know, many decades now, what we're seeing is a pattern that is very much associated with what the ketogenic diet has done. And yet, because we're doing this supplement, we've now made it about a drink, not specifically the diet. So, thanks so much for tuning in.
Sir.
We've got one more to go. Y'all tune in. Comment below. What do you do to help better explain this for you? What do you hear that is contrary to what we may say? You know, we have this ideology, hey, ask, answer, discuss. One of our a specialist that I follow, her name's Dr. Caroline Leaf. She has this platform, and she says, hey, let's ask the question, let's answer the question, let's discuss the outcome. So we encourage people, engage with it, share this, show it to the skeptics. And if what we say doesn't match, let's talk about it, have a conversation, ask these questions, get the answers, and then discuss as we go. So Dustin, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time for the #1 objection on our top 10 objections list to drinking ketones in the health, fitness, nutrition industry. Till then, take care.
Cheers, y'all.